Chapter 18, Lesson Number 1. The next day is Friday, which is one of Gma's tutoring days. It's also my first chess lesson with Ray Ray. Ray Ray shows up on time, not for the chess, but for whatever Gma brought me to eat. Dude is always hungry. "What is that, cake?" he says, looking at the little bag in my hand. "Nope, it's a sack full of moldy jockstraps, mousetraps, and angry scorpions. Stick your hand in and get you some." I tell him, looking straight serious. I don't even open the bag. "Don't even trip with me, fool." He says, "I'm not the one who threw that egg roll." "Yeah, well, you're also not the one who has to teach you chess," I say. Let's just get this over with. We sit down and I start showing him where everything goes at the beginning of the game. Then I show him how all the different pieces move around the board. Rook, knight, bishop, king, queen, and pawns. "Dang! We're going to be here a long time," Ray Ray says. "Where'd you learn all this anyway?" "From my dad," I say, which is true. He's a cop. A detective, actually. He puts bad guys away for a living. "Yeah, right," Ray Ray says. "Why don't I ever see him on the block?" "'Cause he doesn't live here anymore," I say, which is also true, or at least kind of true. "Good thing," Ray Ray says, "'cause my brother plays for the other side. You know, the one that's winning. Your pops don't stand a chance against my man Nicky." "Whatever," I say. "Just shut up and pay attention, okay?" After a while, Dr. Yeti comes in to check on us. "What have you learned so far?" she asks Ray Ray. "This little man here is the king," Ray Ray says and points at the queen. "Not quite," she says. "That's the queen, but she is the most powerful piece on the board." Ray Ray looks at her like maybe she's lying. "Since when?" he says. "The whole game's all about the king, right? Everyone works for him. No disrespect, Dr. Yeti, but that's power." I'm kind of surprised, to tell the truth. Most of Ray Ray's classes are with the learning disabled kids, but if I'm completely honest, he seems sharp enough. I don't even know why he's in those classes. A little later, Gma comes strolling in too. When I look at the clock, it's 4:20. I was supposed to meet her out front 5 minutes ago. How'd that happen? "What do we have here?" Gma says. "And who's this?" I can't lie to Gma in front of Dr. Yeti. That's as good as getting busted. But before I can figure out what to say, Dr. Y speaks up. "Kenneth is teaching Raymond how to play chess," she says. "I asked the two of them if they wanted to give it a try, and they both said yes." It's not exactly a lie, but still, I can't believe it. Did Dr. Yeti just cover for me? She's not only smart and strict and Beyonce fine, but she's clever too. Good looking out, Dr. Yeti. "Well, isn't that wonderful?" Gma says. "I've been trying to get Kenneth more involved. Now he's gone and done it on his own." She bends down and gives me a kiss, which couldn't be more embarrassing. But that's not what I'm worried about right now. I'm worried about the way Ray Ray's looking at me. He heard me in Dr. Yeti's office yesterday. He knows this is supposed to be a secret. Even though Dr. Y just helped me out, it doesn't mean anything if Ray Ray snitches on me. But for some reason, Ray Ray doesn't say a word. I don't know why, but he covers for me too. So I open up that piece of cake, break it in half, and slide one half over to him. Good cake," he says, giving that fake smile of his up to Gma. Ray Ray Powell is smarter than I thought. He knows exactly how to get what he wants. And now that he knows my secret, something tells me I'm in bigger trouble than ever. It sucks when someone has something, anything hanging over you. It's like they own you. Sucks. Chapter 19, Not Getting It. Monday, Ray Ray's not in school, so I don't have to teach his begging behind anything. Then Tuesday at lunch, I'm sitting there with Arthur, Dell, and Vashon, and guess who comes over and sits right down with us? "What do you want, Ray Ray?" Vashon says. "I'm just sitting," Ray Ray says. "Why do I got to want something?" He even has his own lunch tray, so then what's he doing here? Doesn't matter though, because I can see Tiny and Jerome coming this way. Something tells me they're going to want our table, and I'm not in the mood for another beatdown. Let's just go, you guys, I say, and start sucking down the last of my chocolate milk. Why? What's up, Arthur says. He's got his back turned so he can't see Tiny coming up on us like a Mack truck. But then the weirdest thing of all happens. What's up, Tiny? Ray Ray says. What's up? Tiny says. He doesn't even look at me. He and Jerome just keep walking. A second later, I hear them somewhere behind me. Hey, ladies, we need this table now. I turn around, and some other sixth graders are scrambling to get out of the way. Some of them move faster than others. When I turn back, Ray Ray's just sitting there, grinning away. You don't have to worry about Tiny no more, he says. What are you talking about? I say. Why not? I told him about your pops. I made it good, too. I told him even my brother Nicky don't mess with Kenny Wright. What about your dad? Dell asks me. Nothing, I say. That's another whole can of worms I don't want to get into. Is your brother really Nicky Powell? Vashon asks Ray Ray. The one and only, Ray Ray says. And even though I've never heard of Nicky Powell, I can tell that Dell and Vashon have. All of a sudden, they're looking at Ray Ray a little different. Nobody tells him to get up anymore either. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there thinking, what just happened here? It's like Ray Ray wants to be friends or something. And I don't get it. What's the deal? Chapter 20. Ray Ray, Preemie, Quashi, Vanessa, and me? After school, I'm walking home when I hear Ray Ray's voice behind me. I turn around and he's coming up the sidewalk with Preemie, Quashi W, and that girl Vanessa from Gma's tutoring group. Where you going? Ray Ray asks me. Home, I say. We're hitting the corner store for some hot chips. Preemie says she's never had any, Ray Ray says. They're good, I tell Preemie. I don't stop walking, though. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do right now. Quashi and Vanessa are bringing up the rear, and all of a sudden, there I am, sandwiched between Ray Ray and Preemie. On the real, a brother is uncomfortable. What's going on, I say. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Ray Ray says. We're just hanging out. You keep on walking if you want to. I'm 6 blocks from home. On the days Gma doesn't tutor, she expects me to be there by 3:45 unless I tell her something else. It's never worth being late. She just makes me read more, or do the dishes, or something. Still, I figure I can stop for a minute if someone's hooking me up with free hot chips. Who am I to turn them down? Then I'll head on home after that. When we get to the store, Vanessa goes inside, but Ray Ray stops on the sidewalk. Hold up, he says. We're just going to hang here a second. What's going on? I ask Ray Ray. Nothing, he says. We're just getting some hot. Man, shut up and just chill for a second. I am, I say, but why? Almost right away, the door to the store opens back up, and Vanessa comes flying out of there like her butt's on fire. I can see she's got a big bag of chips in her hand, and I can see some lady inside coming after her too. Run, is all Vanessa says. I get it now, but it's too late to do anything about it. So I take off as fast as I can, just like all the others. But I'm also thinking. Chapter 21. 5 on the run. There's no way I'm stopping now. Why should I? This doesn't have anything to do with me. Luckily, the lady from the store isn't very fast, because neither am I. I'm chugging up Minnesota Avenue behind Preemie and Ray Ray, who are behind Vanessa, who's behind Quashi, who's faster than all of us. He gets around the corner and across Good Hope Road, then up between 2 apartment buildings and straight on to 16th until we get to W Street. By the time I catch up to them all, I'm about ready to throw up a lung. Why'd you do that? I say to Vanessa. She looks at me like I'm super lame. You buying next time? She says. The truth is, I have a couple of dollars in my pocket, but I don't say anything. I just shake my head. This felt like it could have easily been one of those wrong place, wrong time kinds of moment that Gma lectures me about. Dang, this is good, Preemie says. She throws a handful of hot chips in her mouth and her eyes begin to water in seconds. That girl is That girl is crazy. She fans her tongue and then chomps in a few more like nothing ever happened. Ray Ray passes the bag over to me. No thanks, I say. Go on, he says. I owe you. I guess he means for all those after-school snacks. But even so, I probably shouldn't take it. I know what Gma would say. Still, Ray Ray and the rest of them are all staring at me, so I take one and shove it in my mouth. They're mad hot, and they sting your fingertips for a day or two with an angry shade of red. But we love 'em. Meanwhile, a bus is pulling up at the corner, and Ray Ray's looking like he's ready to take off. There's my ride, he says. You want to have some fun? I don't even know what he means. None of the others are going for it, so I just stay put. Next thing I know, the bus is pulling away from the curb, and Ray Ray's running after it. He jumps up on the back bumper, grabs hold of the little grip that's hiding there, and waves at us while the bus takes him right back the way we just came. I'm not saying it doesn't look fun, because it kind of does. Fun, but dumber than that dude in your math class who sits in the back, picks his nose, and eats his boogers when he thinks no one's watching. But you caught him one day, and all he could do was flash that goofy booger-eating grin. You know the dude. Gma would ground me for life if she ever caught me doing something as stupid as bus surfing or whatever Ray Ray calls it. And speaking of Gma, it's almost 3:45. I've got to get home now.